What is up, bag chasers, and welcome back to the Bag Breakdown. All right, today we are cracking open the code on an absolute monster, a company that basically runs our digital lives. We're talking about Alphabet, by the ticker GOOGL. Let's get into it. Look, you already know the deal. You use their stuff every single day. You wake up, you check Gmail, you search for something on Google. You get lost, you use maps, you get bored, you're on YouTube. We are all living in their world. But here's the real question, the one we're here to answer. Just because you use it, does that mean you should own it? Should you have a piece of this bag? That is what we're about to figure out. All right, so here's the game plan for today. First, we're going to look at the main bag. That's Google Services, the cash cow. Then we'll check out the glow up, which is Google Cloud. After that, we dive deep into the side pockets, aka their other bets. This is where it gets spicy. Then we got the wild cards, their big AI plays. Of course, we got to talk about the risks and the legal Ws. And finally, we'll land on the verdict. Is this a secure or a drop? Let's go. Okay, let's dive into section 1, the main bag. And I mean that literally. This isn't some side hustle. This is the core, the foundation, the absolute engine that just prints money for this company. Everything else is built on top of what we're about to see. Pay close attention to these numbers. Look at this number right here. Just let it sink in. $102.3 billion. That was their revenue in a single quarter, Q3 2025. That was the first time they ever broke $100 billion in a quarter. To put that into perspective for you, that's more than the entire yearly GDP of a whole bunch of countries. The scale here is it's wild. It screams market dominant. So how do they get to that crazy number? This table right here shows you the receipts. The main bag, Google Services, brought in $87.1 billion of that total. And look at the growth, up 14% year over year. For a company this massive, getting double-digit growth is insane. You break it down, search is still the king, $56.6 billion, up 15%. YouTube ads, $10.3 billion, also up a solid 15%. But check out subscriptions, up 21%. That thing is on fire.
Hold up, show us the receipts on that.
The receipts are right here on the screen. This is straight from their earnings report. The numbers do not lie. And if you're wondering how YouTube is pulling that off, this quote from their chief business officer nails it. He calls it a twin engine monetization strategy. Think about it. You've got the ads we all see, that's engine 1, but then you've got engine 2, subscriptions like YouTube Premium and YouTube TV, which are absolutely exploding. They work together, they feed each other. This isn't just a place to watch videos anymore. It is a full-on media juggernaut. It's a high-growth machine inside the bigger money-printing machine. Okay, let's move on. Section 2, the glow-up. So we've established the main bag as a fortress, right? It's stable, it's huge, but every great company needs a growth story. And for Alphabet, that story is Google Cloud. For the longest time, everyone kind of wrote them off as a distant third place, but trust me, things are changing, and it's all because of AI. Meet the new challenger for the cloud crown. And this chart right here tells the whole story. For years, Amazon's AWS was the king, no questions asked. And yeah, they're still the biggest, but look at that growth rate, 17%, kind of slowing down. Now look at the competition. Microsoft's Azure is flying at 39%. And right on their heels, Google Cloud at 34% growth. It's leaving AWS in the dust and putting serious heat on Microsoft. This is a two-horse race now, and the fuel for Google's fire is 100% its AI game. Now, get ready for another number that'll blow your mind. $155 billion. That is the size of Google Cloud's backlog. That's future money already locked in from deals they've signed. It's a promise of revenue to come, and it shows that the biggest companies in the world are betting big on Google.
Wait, what does that even mean? What's a backlog?
Great question. So a backlog is basically the total dollar value of all the contracts they've signed with customers for services they haven't delivered yet. So you can think of it like a giant pile of pre-orders. It's guaranteed future revenue. And for investors, a backlog that's not just big but growing this fast, we're talking 82% year over year, is a massive green flag. It means customers are signing longer, bigger deals, and they have huge confidence in where Google Cloud is headed. And if you need more proof, just listen to the CEO himself, Sundar Pichai. He said, and I quote, "We have signed more deals over $1 billion through Q3 this year than we did in the previous 2 years combined." Bro, these aren't small-time contracts. We're talking billion-dollar commitments from the biggest companies on the planet. And what's driving it? Their enterprise AI tools. The big dogs are flocking to Google Cloud, and they're signing massive checks. All right, now for my favorite part. Section 3, the side pockets. So we've seen the safe money and the high-growth challenger. Now we get to the wild stuff. The bets that could either change the world or totally flame out. This is Alphabet's Other Bets segment. These are the high-risk, high-reward moonshots. And honestly, this is where the real long-term story might be hiding. This quote from investing.com gets it exactly right. For years, Wall Street analysts just saw this part of the company as a money pit, calling it Alphabet's expensive hobby. But the script is flipping. People are finally waking up and realizing that one of these bets could be the next Google search. This is the part of the company that the smart money is starting to pay very, very close attention to. But let's be real about the price of innovation. Look at these numbers. In one quarter, the side pockets brought in $344 million in revenue, but they lost $1.4 billion. Yeah, they are burning a ton of cash. But here's the crucial point. They can afford to. The main bag, Google Services, is such a monster that it can easily fund these long-shot bets. That's a strategic advantage that almost no other company in the world has. Okay, but can you give us an example of what's in these side pockets? For sure. Let's talk about the two big ones, Waymo and Verily. Waymo is their self-driving car company, and this isn't some science project anymore. They are running fully driverless taxi services right now in Phoenix, San Francisco, and LA. And they're expanding to a ton of new cities like Atlanta and Austin and even going international. This is real. Then you have Verily, their health tech company. They're landing huge partnerships with giants like NVIDIA and getting grants from top-tier places like the National Institutes of Health. These aren't just ideas. They are real businesses trying to upend massive industries. Okay, on to Section 4, the wild cards. So if the other bets are the moonshots you can see, these AI plays are the secret sauce, the foundational tech that's going to power the entire company for the next decade. These aren't just products, they're strategic assets that could completely change the game. Let's break down these wild cards, because this is nuts. First, their investment in the AI startup Anthropic, that stake made them $10.7 billion on paper in one quarter just because Anthropic's valuation went up. That's a passive gain. Then you've got their partnership with Boston Dynamics. They're putting their Gemini AI brains into those crazy Atlas robots. That's straight out of a sci-fi movie. And finally, their own AI, Gemini, is just taking over. The app has over 650 million monthly users. And for the devs, its API is processing over 7 billion tokens per minute. The scale of their AI operation is just on another level. All right, so it can't all be sunshine and rainbows, right? A good breakdown has to look at the bad stuff too. That brings us to Section 5, risks and the legal woes. When you're as big as Alphabet, you've always got a target on your back from regulators and lawsuits. Let's look at the headwinds and how they're handling the heat. So let's talk about the FUD, the fear, uncertainty, and doubt. On the risk side, you've got some heavy hitters. They got slapped with a $3.5 billion fine from the EU. Their spending on new data centers and servers is going through the roof to power all this AI, and that means their operating costs are going up. These are legit concerns for any investor. But on the other side of the coin, they've been racking up some major wins.
Show us the receipts on the wins.
You got it. The biggest legal threat hanging over this company forever was the huge U.S. antitrust case. Everyone was scared they were going to get broken up. But Google scored a massive victory. The court said they don't have to sell off their Chrome browser and, this is the big one, their multi-billion-dollar deal with Apple to be the default search engine on iPhones can stay. An analyst from Wedbush called this a monster win because it takes the biggest risk completely off the table and even opens the door for Google and Apple to team up more on AI. Huge. So, we've broken down the main bag, we've seen the cloud glow up, we've peeked in the side pockets, we've looked at the AI wildcards, and we've weighed the legal battles. We've seen all the receipts. Now it's time to make the call. Section 6, the verdict. After all this, is Google a bag worth chasing? After looking at everything, for us, the verdict is clear. Secure the bag. Let's just run it back real quick. The main business is a fortress that prints cash and is still growing at double digits. The cloud business is accelerating like crazy and taking market share, all thanks to AI. The side pockets, like Waymo and Verily, give you that massive long-term moonshot potential. And to top it all off, the biggest legal threat that was scaring everyone away has been neutralized. This company is firing on all cylinders. So I'll leave you with this last question to think about. We've seen how AI is literally touching and transforming every single part of this company.
So is Alphabet setting itself up for another decade of just pure dominance? Or are all these moonshots and side pockets just expensive distractions that are going to burn cash? That's the billion-dollar question. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Thanks for watching the Bag Breakdown. Peace.